Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu einem neuen Game. Momentan nur die Alpha, Beta, Demo-Version des Spiels. Und zwar Lamplight City. Wir machen einmal kurz ein bisschen den Ton runter. So. Bis jetzt nur in Englisch erhältlich, aber es ist auch nur der erste Fall, den wir hier testen können. Später auch noch mit deutscher Übersetzung. Aber wir schauen mal kurzzeitig rein.
Rough night?
Bit too much Bollingworth ale is all. That stuff really creeps up on you.
Sorry I couldn't join you, but I was long overdue for a quiet night in with Addie.
That's fine. There'll be plenty of other opportunities. Hell, maybe Adelaide can even join us. It's been ages since she last drank me under the table.
I'm afraid she mostly sticks to tea these days.
Miles, what exactly is it we're looking into? I may have dozed off during the briefing.
You sleep through the briefings?
Sure, it's really not that difficult. Snelling's monotonous drone works better than Cold Tit's emulsified soporific.
Very funny. Anyway, it's a burglary at the Hambrook Flower Shop.
A burglary, eh? How dull. At least we'll have enough time to get a drink afterwards.
You seem awfully certain of that.
I am. In fact, I'd bet the devil my head that we're done within the hour.
Well, the devil's gonna be disappointed that his winnings are so meager. Ah, we've arrived. After you, Bill. Thank you. Keep the change.
And so, our night of excitement begins.
You, more than anyone else, should know that there's rarely a dull night in Chumley.
I have a feeling tonight will be the exception. Until we get to the pub, that is.
Keep your mind on the case, Bill. Now let's get a move on.
Okay. Ja, sehr nette Grafik, wie ich finde.
I can't believe that thing made it all the way across the Atlantic in less than a week.
Don't scoff at the future, Miles. Pretty soon, we'll all be riding those things to work.
Especially considering Prince Harold is their big celebrity passenger. He's just pacing back and forth, muttering to himself.
Probably one of the patients from Riverview. Seems like there's more of them on the streets than in the asylum these days.
Wie gesagt, also deutsche Übersetzung wird dran gearbeitet, ist an dieser Version jetzt noch nicht verfügbar. In der Version ist sowieso momentan nur der erste Fall, also dieser Fall, vorhanden. Sobald das Spiel fertig raus ist, werden wir natürlich auch alles nochmal mit deutschen Untertiteln machen.
He'd at least get fed in jail.
True enough. Fordham, what are you doing?
I was gonna check inside this trash can for clues.
Miles, in the 15 years we've been partners, how many times have you found something inside a trash can that wasn't garbage?
Fair point. Glad this thing is lit. This isn't really the type of place I'd prefer to be at this time of night.
Don't worry, Miles. I've got your back.
Looks like they've had some trouble with vandalism.
Pretty much every business in this part of town has.
Certainly looks cozy in there.
Plants have a nice way of doing that.
That reminds me. I should pick up a bouquet for Addie when we're done here.
Seems like you've been spending more time with me than with her lately. I sure hope she's not the jealous type.
Okay, wir konnten rein, aber unterhalten wir uns erstmal mit
Bill, could I have a word?
What's on your mind, Fordham?
Finde ich auch sehr schön gemacht hier mit diesen zwei Porträts, die sich dann untereinander unterhalten.
A burglary at a flower shop. Not the most thrilling case we've had, is it?
If I didn't know any better, I'd say Snelling's been giving us the boring cases lately on purpose.
Why would he do something like that?
He's eyeing a promotion to chief of police. He'd sell his own mother's cane if he thought it would help. Plus, there's no secret he doesn't like us.
I can't understand why. I've shown him nothing but respect.
It's because you're too good at what you do. And because you're friends with me.
What's that got to do with anything?
Not everyone is as open-minded as you, Miles. Let's just leave it at that.
You ever miss living out here, Bill?
About as much as you missed stepping in that pile of horseshit last week.
I was distracted by that story you were telling me about your sister. How's she doing out west, anyway?
Well, she's not in the chum, so fantastic. Living here was about as fun as wearing a vest made of meat to a dogfight. I'm glad we both managed to get out. Oh, and by the way, Miles, you didn't do such a great job of cleaning your shoes.
That would explain all the funny looks I've been getting. Still feeling rough, Bill?
Yes, but I'll feel better once this case is finished and we can go down to the Angel for a pint or four.
Hair of the dog?
No better medicine.
When's the last time you took any time off?
That's a good question. What year is this again?
I think we've both been working a bit too much lately. Addie's been wanting to go visit her mother in Dixie. Maybe we can all go.
That sounds nice, but I wouldn't want to be a third wheel on a visit to your in-laws. Unless... Would Adelaide's brother be there by any chance?
You're incorrigible, Bill.
It's one of my finer qualities.
Got any opinions on the upcoming election?
I'll just be glad when it's all over. It seems like the last few months have been nothing but people giving opinions and telling me what to do without a moment's peace.
I know what you mean. I already saw some kids putting up Atwood posters down my street.
I already drew mustaches in all the ones on my street.
Handlebar?
Yeah, you know me too well.
I always thought of Atwood as more of a Van Dyke type of man myself.
I can see that. Yeah. Well, there's something to do tomorrow.
You enjoying this weather? It's a nice evening for it, not too hot. I find a bit of fresh air always helps clear out the mental cobwebs.
It's just too bad the air in the chum is about as fresh as a week-old corpse. At any rate, it'll be winter before you know it. The whole city will be shut down, and we'll be digging bodies out from under the snowbanks.
Always something to look forward to.
Hört sich doch super an.
Ferry ride over was surprisingly uneventful, don't you think?
I know. It doesn't really feel like a visit to the chum without seeing at least one fistfight. Ah, well, there's always the ride back.
Let's get back to it.
All right.
Ich hoffe, wir kommen nicht in den Faustkampf noch. Oh, wir sind ja immerhin zu zweit.
Come on, Bill.
Betreten wir den Shop. Keiner zu Hause.
Charming little place, isn't it?
Charming, but empty. We need to find the owner.
Always so to the point, Fordham. If ever there was a better time to stop and smell the flowers.
I think I'll leave that to you, Bill.
With my allergies? Hardly.
Plants hanging on hooks. A nice space-saving method.
I'd probably bang my head against them constantly if I had them in my apartment.
These prices are pretty reasonable. The place I go in Worcester's clearly robbing me blind.
If you think those are bad, don't go near the flower shops in Lyon.
Not too many left. Seems business isn't so bad around here.
Well, you know what they say. There are only 3 certainties in life. Death, taxes, and people taking advantage of sales.
This is quite the selection. Come over here and take a whiff, Bill.
Sure, if you don't mind me getting snot all over your coat.
Oh, no, not the Myers case all over again. On second thought, you can just stay over there.
Das wird
You
wahrscheinlich
seem to
dasselbe
be
sein.
part of the watering system for the flowers.
I haven't seen old piping like this in a while. Seems like someone's reluctant to upgrade.
The staircase isn't very well lit.
I'll go first. That way you can catch me if I fall.
We should probably ask for permission before heading up there. Mostly a bunch of fertilizer and growth tonics.
Growth tonics, eh?
Plant growth tonics, Bill.
Of course. I knew that.
Na gut. Klingeln wir die Glocke.
Be right there. Oh, hello, gentlemen. I must say you caught me by surprise. I was preparing to close soon. May I help you find anything? The flowers in the center display are half price this week, and I have a special on chrysanthemums today. Or perhaps a custom bouquet for the special ladies in your lives?
I have no need myself, but maybe Adelaide would appreciate a little something. Eh, Miles? Those peonies in the corner look nice.
I'm afraid we're not here as customers tonight, ma'am. We'd like to have a word with the proprietor. Is he in?
I see. I'm Cecilia Handbrook, and this is my shop. What can I do for you, gentlemen?
I'm Detective Miles Fordham, and this is my partner, William Legere. We received a report of a burglary at your store.
A report? From whom? I never contacted the police before, and I didn't this time, either.
It was made anonymously. But are you saying this isn't the first time it's happened?
Correct. It's happened 3 times. But considering the police hardly care about the daily muggings and vandalisms around here, I didn't think they would be interested in something so trivial.
Well, we're here now, and we'll do all we can to help you.
We'll have to see about that.
If you wouldn't mind, Mrs. Hanbrook, I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Very well, Detective.
Aber sie kommt mir nicht so vor, ob sie Bock hätte, mit mir zu reden. Und sie, offensichtlich mag sie uns auch nicht. Aber das hat wahrscheinlich damit zu tun, dass wir im Ghetto sind und die Polizei sich hier nicht blicken lässt, offensichtlich.
Could you
Oh,
give me
God.
the details concerning the burglaries?
About 3 weeks ago on Monday, I noticed that my order of Easter lilies was missing. At first, I thought nothing of it. Sometimes certain types of flowers are unavailable or arrive in poor condition. These things happen. Then 2 weeks ago on Wednesday, it happened again. But this time, I noticed something rather odd.
Go on.
When I opened the shop, there were 6 crowns and 10 shillings on the counter. That's exactly the cost of 2 orders of lilies. Last Friday, it happened yet again. The lilies were missing, and there was payment for 1 order on the counter. I believe that someone has been breaking into my shop after hours, taking the lilies, and leaving money behind.
How unusual.
So haben wir jemanden, der einbricht, Blumen klaut, aber dafür bezahlt. Es ist praktisch kein Diebstahl mehr. Nur noch ein Einbruch. Naja.
Have you noticed any suspicious characters lurking around?
Detective Fordham, this is Chumley. You can't throw a stone without hitting a suspicious character. And if you've noticed my window, you'd be aware that stones get thrown around quite a bit in this neighborhood. If you're looking for trouble, you're far more likely to find it out there than in here.
I meant if you'd seen anyone out of the ordinary near your shop.
Only the 2 men from the police who entered it tonight. That is most definitely out of the ordinary.
Have you found any evidence of a break-in?
No, the front door is always locked. My assistant Trevor and I are the only ones with the key.
Are there any other points of access to the building?
The upstairs windows, I suppose, but I make sure to keep them locked, and neither of them have been broken.
Would you allow us to have a look upstairs?
Is that really necessary? I was just about to close up the shop.
It won't take but a moment.
Fine, I suppose you may, but please, don't dally too long.
Da macht sich einer auch keine Sorgen, dass man einfach einbrechen kann, offensichtlich bei ihr.
So this burglar has been paying for the stolen goods?
That would appear to be the case, yes. I really don't think this could even be considered a crime. That's one of the reasons I didn't bother reporting it to the police.
And the other reasons?
Oh, I think I've already made those quite clear, Detective.
Ja, wir lassen uns nicht oft blicken in der Gegend. Ich hab's kapiert.
You mentioned your assistant has the other shop key. What can you tell me about him?
His name is Trevor Hastings, and he has been working for me for the past 10 years.
Do you trust him?
Implicitly. I've known him for ages, and he has been my full-time assistant since shortly after my husband died. You're not suggesting he had anything to do with this, are you?
Not at all. I would like to speak with him, though. Where might I find him?
It's Friday, so he should be on his way back from the docks right now. He'll be bringing my flower order within the hour.
Good. We'll meet him here, then. If that's all right with you.
I suppose I don't really have much of a choice, do I?
Have you been in business long?
Yes, I opened this shop 30 years ago, along with my late husband, David. But the past 10 years, I've been running things on my own.
Don't you feel unsafe being here by yourself so late into the night?
Detective, when you've lived in this part of town as long as I have, it takes quite a lot to scare you.
I think that's all the information I need for now.
All right, Detective.
Schön. Ja, mit dem Rechtsklick können wir unser Fallbuch öffnen, wo wir nochmal ein bisschen was nachlesen können, was wir zu tun haben. Und was für Tipps wir haben, was für Verdächtige wir haben, was für Dokumente wir gefunden haben. Und bis jetzt haben wir nur 2 Hinweise gefunden
Interesting choice of decor in here.
Perhaps it wasn't always used as a storeroom, although I can understand why it would have been converted.
Yeah, it is rather drafty in here.
A pastoral landscape. Definitely nowhere near here.
I've never much understood art, but it would be nice to see a place like that in person.
I would imagine that keeping a consistent temperature in here is important for the flowers.
When do you suppose this contraption was last serviced?
Hard to say. Definitely not recently, if the dust buildup is any indication. A rather distinguished-looking gentleman.
Reminds me of Captain Snelling, if he ever smiled.
A young lady. Perhaps a relation of Mrs. Hanbrook?
I can see the resemblance. Sort of.
Seems to be the broken pot storage area.
Why not just throw them away, I wonder?
It's likely they're going to be repaired. I noticed some faint cracks in some of the pots downstairs. I've seen this type of device before. It's a special container for growing plants. Specific temperature and water conditions can be adjusted. Seems to be empty right now, though, and judging by the dust, it hasn't been used in a long time, if ever.
It seems Mrs. Hanbrook isn't too fond of steam tech, or just doesn't understand it.
Ja, jeder für sich.
I don't think this window would serve as a viable means of entry.
It's a nice view, though. You can hardly see the vomit and manure piles on the street from up here.
Unmarked, but if the smell is anything to go by, this is where the flowers are stored when delivered.
I'll keep my distance then.
Er und seine Allergien, ne?
Lamplight City, in all her glory. This provides a means of escape from the top floor, or access to this window from the ground. The window latch, securely locked. Interesting. There's a gap between the window and the frame here. No wonder it's so drafty in this room. I wonder.
What are you thinking, Fordham?
That it's time for an experiment. I'm going to need a tool, however. Something long and thin should do the trick.
Shouldn't be too hard to find something like that around here.
Okay. Will mit ihm noch irgendwas besprechen?
Bill?
What's going on, Miles?
I've heard of honor among thieves, but have you ever known a thief to pay for stolen goods?
Perhaps conducting normal business is just too boring for him. Do you think he might be doing it for the thrill?
There could be any number of reasons. The best way to find out is to catch the culprit and ask him ourselves. What's your impression of dear old Mrs. Hanbrook?
I like her. Good old-fashioned, tough-as-nails Chumley woman. Reminds me of my mother.
Your mother was never quite so stubborn. Why do you suppose she's so reluctant to accept our help?
It's a chum thing, Miles. You wouldn't understand.
The gap in the window upstairs is intriguing.
Do you think it might be the point of entry?
Indeed. I just need to find something long and thin to confirm my theory.
I think you were born with something like that, Miles.
You're disgusting, Bill.
I know. That's why I always do the dirty work.
Let's get back to it.
All right.
Ich habe mir schon gedacht, dass so ein Witz noch kommen muss. Dass sie ihn wirklich bringen, ist gut. Ja, hier machen wir aber erstmal einen kurzen Stopp. Ich bedanke mich fürs Zusehen und wir sehen uns beim nächsten Mal. Ciao, ciao!